Hello everyone, welcome back to my Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous Azata playthrough. Last time we had a fairly relaxed time just going around the new map and talking to everybody. We talked to Arushale, we hired Greybore, and in the interim I've just leveled everybody up as well and sorted a bit of our gear out. So yeah, I think we should head inside the Citadel and see if there's anything in there for us with regards to the Crusade. I think there will be. Yeah, here we go. Seer. A middle-aged paladin with a genial face salutes you. His sparse grey hair stands in fuzzy tufts on his head, giving him a distinctly unwarlike appearance. Ever-bright crusader reporting for duty. My name is Seer Coberlin. I'm at your service. Queen Galfrey is gathering the main attack forces in Nerosian. She ordered us to replenish the losses suffered in Canabris and come here. We will support your troops. A tall, dark-eyed lad is standing behind Seer. He passionately echoes Seer's words, Morveg. We are ready to go to the front immediately. Allow us to be the spear of the attack. The old crusader calls the young man to order. Morveg, don't speak unless spoken to. Don't worry, no one will be defeating any demons without you. Seer smiles kindly and tousles the boy's hair. Who have you brought with you? Everbright Crusaders mainly, but we have a lot of volunteers who joined us. Those who arrived at the Queen's call but didn't want to sit in Nerosian waiting for the main army to set off. All the hotheads know that the front is here. Seer nods at the boy behind him, the one who's eager to fight. We picked up this one too. He walked to Canabris with an old sword in his hand and a few copper coins in his pocket. He was going to keep walking, to kill the demons. And then he would probably have laid siege to Threshold, no doubt. The boy's cheeks go pink at the old man's gentle mockery, but he continues to stare ahead resolutely and boldly. Did you fight in Canabris? How are things there? Not personally, no. The Queen summoned me and the bulk of our order to Nerosian. Almost all those who remained behind in Canabris died, and the ones who didn't were disorganised and leaderless. But the order did not perish. New volunteers have been pouring into our ranks. We are licking our wounds. Canabris is rebuilding. Life wins out. People are coming from all over Avestan to help. Many are joining up with the Crusaders, just as it happened back in the First Crusade. Great, you'll be serving under my command. The Crusader gives you a friendly smile. It's an honour for us, Commander. Let's give the demons a dusting. Oh, there's Regil. Nothing new to say. Anevia. Look who it is, hi. Have you figured out how the demons have been sneaking up on us? Anevia answers with scarcely concealed irritation. No dice. Our scouts crawled all over the area, down every hole. Nothing. The grey road was completely empty, and then bam! A whole army popped up like a jack-in-the-box. My only lead is a few scouts who didn't come back from the gorges to the southwest, but we found no sign of secret paths or underground passageways, and definitely no route we can use to quietly move a large force through. But I feel in my gut there's some evil scum out there. We just have to look harder. Of course I could send out more scouts, but they might just disappear like the first ones. Why don't you go there yourself and find out what's what? What do you think of my new powers? Anevia scoffs. I don't know if this counts as blasphemy or whatever, but you look like Desna just had a wicked way with you. You've got a bit of that divine sass about you now. And the dragon. I'm a little put out that I didn't get to see how you flew on the thing in battle. Sending demons running scared, grabbing whatever they could grabbing whatever they could and hightailing it out of there. Ivu's too small for us to fly on at the moment. Did you find out anything about where Monargo is now? Nevia shakes her head sharply. Nope, zero. Zilch. A whole lot of nothing. The scum melted into thin air. Soldiers saw her jump out the window, run through the square in front of the citadel, and suddenly disappear. We haven't heard anything from her since, and I don't like it. I'm telling you, this is bad. First of all, her kind don't just give up. If we can't see her, it means she's setting a trap for us somewhere we won't expect. I mean, it would be great if the Demon Lords just gobbled her up for all her failures, but I think that's too much to hope for. But that's not the worst part. we have a more interesting question, you know. I wonder how she teleported from the city, if by that time you'd already hung the banner. Soldiers are saying it probably wasn't in full force by then, but you and I both know that's dross. She wasn't supposed to be able to teleport, but she did. The question is how. Oh, okay, so she did teleport. I mean, she could have just turned invisible, couldn't she? Alright, watch yourself now. Irabeth, how are you doing? Hail, Commander. We need to talk about what happened during the attack on Drezen. Irabeth nods curtly. Yes. I was shamefully faint-hearted. Praise Iomade, it didn't affect the course of battle. Still, my behaviour was unworthy of a knight, even less a commander. Under the circumstances, leaving my position would be tantamount to desertion. Still, as your advisor, I strongly recommend you release me from my position as head of the Order, strip me of my knighthood, and send me to serve in the Condemned. Now we're going to be nice to her. Few deserve these titles more than you. Don't blame yourself. Under the circumstances, you did everything possible and more besides. Thank you, Commander. The gratitude in Irabeth's voice is sincere. A spark of enthusiasm appears in her eyes, which had grown dull over recent weeks. The half-orc salutes you sharply. For a moment, you once again see the Irabeth who was ready to protect the defender's heart to her dying breath. Thank you for still trusting me. More than anyone else does in this crusade. Even more than I trust myself. Despite your words, Irabeth obviously still feels unworthy of her commander's rank. Changing her mind will require more than platitudes. Perhaps you can bolster her by appointing her to a position where she can work more closely with rank-and-file soldiers, those whose faith in their commander remains undimmed. How is the Eagle Watch doing in Canabris? Everything is going well. I was wary of handing over the reins at first. I was afraid that everything would fall apart without Anevia and me. But I took a risk and left a very clever lad in charge, a tiefling as it happens. He infiltrated the cult alone. They couldn't imagine a tiefling wouldn't be on their side. He exposed an entire cell. I personally knighted him just before the city was attacked. Of course, there were many who weren't happy about it, but it's not my job to make people happy. He hasn't disappointed. He has built up the Order's ranks again and is running everything so smoothly it's as if the demon attack never happened. He's proven more than once that I left Canabris in good hands. But I admit, it's still strange to think that such a small order as the Eagle Watch now has 2 chapters. One in Drezen and one in Canabris. I have to go. Irabeth says goodbye with a short bow. Let's just have a quick look around our new digs. This is our room. There's the commander's chest. There's where we rest. Let's manage crusade affairs. So now there's a lot more we can do in terms of running the crusade. We can, there's certain events we can do. Yep, there's a tutorial. There's also decrees we can make. You can only have one of your decrees issued for each of the crusader stats at any given time. I think there's 4 crusader stats. Some are repeatable, some only happen once. That's fine. Rank up. So we should do these ones first, I think. Development, outpost to bastion expansion. By upgrading an outpost to a bastion, the commander will expand its territory for building. Oh yeah, we can do like. We can build stuff in various places as well. I think we had a. Didn't we have a journal thing to? Oh yeah, there's loads that we can do at the moment. How do we leave? I feel like there's a better way to leave the Crusader map. Oh, here we go. Build. I think we had a journal entry to build a stable, which we haven't got enough material points at the moment to do, so we will leave that, I guess. Unless there's something that increases our material points gained, in which case we might as well build that. Oh, there's loads to build. Sanctuary. Sanctuary increases energy points income. Right, okay, there's an exit there. We'll just set up the different... for ranking up, we'll form all the councils. Issue decree. Issue decree. These all just would take a day. Yep. Issue decree and issue decree. That's all fine. Relics. Oh yeah, so these are all the stuff we found from armies as well. And then there's some other stuff we can do there. Let's look at our armies for now. We've got this one over... No. Oh, we've got... There's loads going on here. What's going on? Oh, we've got the Hell Knights that we were moving up. We'll keep moving them up. Keep going. Thank you. We've got these scouts, which we can just leave here for now. Oh, and then we've got a bunch of reinforcements. Oh, what are these? Champions and paladins. They look different from the other paladins that we have, though. Oh, they're clerics. They're not technically paladins. Okay. And as you can see, a lot more armies now that we have this whole area to kind of go into. We'll reinforce with these, definitely. And we'll move these guys back. Add these to the bolt. Finally, these numbers have got back up to what they were before the before we lost a bunch. Champions. They look like they're pretty good, I'd wager. We could maybe get another general if we wanted. And have two armies on the go. Let's try putting the champions in there, see how they do. I'm not a huge fan of the light armoured variants. And they've still got 19 movement points, haven't they? Amplify resistance. Pursue. Just a bunch of animals, really. Oh, they've gone to a perfect position for fireball. Easy. New morale banners. After capturing Drezen, the crusaders raised the 3 moral banners on the city walls. Banner of victory stay green while you defeat enemy armies. Banner of conquest stays green while you capture demon forts. And banner of defense remains green as long as none of your forts are under siege. Okay. Having buried those who died from the plague, warriors search the place and find a small grave where Sir Donald Regalaw, a hero of the Second Crusade, rests in peace. They take care of the grave and clean dead bodies and dirt from a small oasis nearby, and the water instantly becomes clean, clear and sweet. This place is much loved by spirits and gods. Okay. And shall we hit this fort? Yeah. Let's carry on. Another nice position for a fireball. This is why fireball is just so good. And that's even better. 2 shots. Think nothing of it. Perfect. Yeah, just saying about the building stuff that we can do. There's a lot to look at here, if I'm being honest. Map. No. I want to look at the whole map campaign. The stone maze. Manage. Shall we build something here? A citadel increases the time of the siege of the fort by 3 days. Archer range increases recruitment growth for archers. Barracks increases recruitment growth. Yeah, they both increase recruitment. As does stables. Hospitals increase the finance points we get. Our supply centers increase material points. Okay, we'll build a supply center here. Watchtowers provide all allied units within the fort's area of control a +1 bonus to attack, AC, saving throws and initiatives. They're pretty good to scatter around. I think I want to build supply centres and inns first, because inns cost a lot more to material points to build though. So we'll go around and build some supply centres, I think. I always forget how much you have to think about, how much you have to do in these early stages. Let's look at Drezen. Do we build a supply centre here? No, there's no supply centres here. Teleportation circle would be good. We don't need it right now. It just means we can jump back here at any time, really. Reduces the cost of building construction by 10%. That's pretty good as well. Yeah. I think building a stable is a quest that we've been given. Let's just build some supply centres in the forts that we have now, because they're relatively cheap and they increase our material points, which we need a lot of. Yeah, build another supply centre. Vagrants. A crowd of destitute, the sick, and the feeble-minded has arrived in Drezen, and they are asking to be admitted. Their lives are rough, they have no place where they belong, and they wish to die as heroes, at the very least. But the Crusaders do not wish to fight side by side with these vagrants either. That reduces our morale by 10. Give them work on the home front. Reduces by 20, but we get 1 more material point. Send them to Mendev, no consequence. Set up a hospital. Yeah, let's do that one. Crusader morale increases by 5. Material points income increases by 1. Set up a hospital. Arushale set up a hospital for the poor souls in Drezen. The healers care for the sick and they help the supply units in gratitude. Is that help of the outcast permanent? Material points increase by 1. Nice. An important inspection. A group of officials from Neurosian is on its way to Drezen. They want to inspect how well the crusade is organised. What kind of welcome should they receive? Cold. Adds 4,000 leadership experience points. Lavish. Finance points increases by 30. Show things as they are. Finance points increases by 30. Adds 3,000 diplomacy experience points. Bring the officials to the front lines. Finance points increases by 30. Let's just show them how things are. The officials were desperate to find some kind of fault, but found none and begrudgingly admitted that the crusade is organised expertly. They promised to increase support from the authorities. Yep. That's nice. And then we just have to wait a day to work on these. Yeah, we can't do anything. We can only do things one at a time. Shall we build something in Keeper's Canyon too? Well, I've clicked on it now, so might as well. We'll build a supply center. The quicker they're built, the more we can get out of their income. By upgrading an outpost to a bastion, the commander will expand its territory for buildings, as well as allow the construction of advanced structures here. 1 fort of outpost level with at least 3 out of the 4 construction slot filled. Okay, so we need to build stuff up before we can do that really anyway. Might as well use these scouts to do some scouting. And just make the road clear. So yeah, I want to go there as soon as possible with our with the commander. Okay, we could just skip the day to get the to get these done, or we could leave and come back in a day. Let's do it that way. I want to go and check out the court, because the court is a big part of every mythic path has its own kind of unique spin on the way the commander runs the court. Sometimes it involves building a big. There's usually a way. Well, I think there's always a way to that it connects to Drezen, but I don't know what a lot of the other ones are, to be fair. I know that how the Azata one works and a bit of how the Lich one works. Let's just go to the fortress gates because we want to leave. We'll not bring Regil. We'll bring Sealer. And yeah, Ivu told us that we had some friends waiting out here who had some very important news for us, so we will check those out. Shown on... wait for Kalesia's schemes to be revealed. That's still going on. Heart of the Mystery. An unknown masked figure told the command... Oh yeah, that's... told the commanders to go to a place called the Heart of Mystery. Dragon Hunt. Travel with Greyboar to the Grimwood and set up an ambush for the dragon. Search for traces of... Yeah, these are the quests that Irabeth gave us. And I believe there was... Yeah. Form the Staff Council. Order the Crusades craftsmen to improve a relic. Liberate the region. Only once it is liberated. Yeah, so... Oh, we've done that one. So yeah, we have to build the main stables, form the Staff Council, which we're doing, and order the Crusaders craftsmen to improve a relic, which we can do a bit later. Errands. We still haven't seen the Storyteller in a while, so we'll see him soon, I think. And then our mythic quest above the clouds. Your dragon companion claims that your good friends are waiting for you on a ridge not far from Drezen. Who are they and what do they want from you? Let's go find out. It's not quite the way around I thought it was going to be. There you go. Do you want to enter this location? Enter. As you approach, the commotion at the top of the ridge dies down for a moment before soaring to new heights. That's her, yes, look at the butterflies. Ivu. Hello? There's a dragon here too, you know. I'm way more interesting than a butterfly. And it was me who asked Ness to come here anyway. What's a good little dragon? Who's a good little dragon? Ivu's a good little dragon. Suddenly, Arushale stops and steps behind you. She looks rather embarrassed. I know who they are, but what if they... I mean, I'm a demon and... Aranka, you see your old friends, the 3 Drezen adepts from Canaveras, standing at the head of the crowd. Nest, finally! We rushed here as soon as we heard what happened in Drezen. We brought friends too, except we've only just met some of them. Ilks, allow me to introduce them. Matress Ola Devera, the illustrious exiled alchemist. Those formidable warriors there are halflings from the temple of Caldera Zazaristan, the goddess of battle and recklessness. This is the famous street artist, Maestro Arvan Turin, a pseudonym of course. Rare is the administrative building in Avestan that has escaped his brush. And here in front we have our mounted gnomish contingent, the cavalry sculptors. We have all come here to help you fight the forces of the abyss. A ragtag group. Why was Matrix Dollar exiled? Prejudice, that's why. The dishevelled woman shakes her head in disdain. Her clothes look as though they've been singed a dozen times over and dragged through various paints at least a dozen times more. For some reason, people are suspicious of alchemists who worship Cade and Kylene. They also consider my experiments dangerous, which is utterly preposterous for one. Science comes at a price, after all. And besides, it wasn't I who caused that explosion back in Absalon and raised half a block. I mean, I wasn't even there. Still, now I'm surrounded by open-minded people. I'll be able to unleash my talents and show those demons that bombs can protect us as well as any prayers. What are the goddess Caldera and her worshippers famous for? Halfling warrior. A belligerent-looking halfling salutes you with his sword. Caldera is the goddess of mischief, battle and luck, and a close friend of Desna, the Moon Mother. Caldera is not the goddess of strategic planning, put it that way. Her worshippers, we charge headlong into battle, leading others into the fray, and we despise evil in all its forms. My friends and I have long wanted to support the Crusades, but this is the first time we've seen a leader we're willing to follow. An artist on the crusade? A street artist to boot? Maestro Ivan Turin. Dusty galleries and pompous patrons aren't quite my scene. is Maestro Oven's dignified response. I only paint in places where everyone can see my work and appreciate its special meaning. I used to paint flowers and the sun on the walls of besieged forts to make the attacking armies realise they were destroying another's peace and joy. I once depicted the acts of Iomade in a painting in the middle of the Calexian capital, not because I worshipped her, but rather to remind people of Calexion that this proud, tyrant-toppling goddess was born there. I don't yet know what I will create here in the World Wound, but I feel I must play some part in the salvation of this land. Cavalry sculptors? Cavalry sculptors. Exactly! One of the gnomes sitting in the saddle grins happily, looking from head to toe a brigand. The cavalry sculptors are an ancient and revered gnomish society, in certain circles, that is. Our only rivals are the pikemen confectioneers. But they don't have the noble legend that tells of the creation of their society, unlike us. According to this legend, a brave gnome knight once participated in a battle that lasted many days. He had to ride into battle down one and the same path, past one and the same boulder. Soon he was fed up with it. He started to chip off a piece of the boulder each time he rode past it, eventually carving it into a giant apple. The little game turned out to be so captivating that soon the knight's entire squad began to do the same, and then the enemy joined in too. It goes without saying that they were all gnomes. The war soon ended, but before it did, they had carved all kinds of fruit and vegetables from a dozen boulders and a couple of rocks, all well mounted too, and that's how our noble society was born. Are you all going to join my army? Of course not, Aranka replies, clearly speaking for everyone. We didn't come here to march around in neat little rows like all the crusaders who've come before us. We're here to answer the call of our hearts, and we're going to help you in every way we can. We will all do something for our cause, but we are free spirits. We take orders from no one, and we certainly do not join in other people's war games. Army discipline and the grey walls of Drezen do not stir our heart's nest. Yet I know that you are the wind of change we've been waiting for. In Canabris I witness your kindness, bravery and tenacity. I'll follow you straight into hellfire. All of us will. But we will each tread our own path. Now, what am I going to do with you? I know what you need to do. Knight them. Iva whispers loudly. She continues, looking a little embarrassed as Aranka and the others look at her in surprise. I mean, I've been told many stories about Galarian, and that's always what happens in them. Nest is the knight commander, right? That means she can knight you all. Ordinary knights are a bit boring, but I know Nest will make her oath really exciting. I like the sound of that. We'll be, free crusaders. What do you think, Nest? Just make up an oath for us so we can be knighted, and then we'll start our campaign against the demons, and they will tremble before us. Darren, my dear cousin Galfrey will have an apoplectic fit if she finds out about this farce. That's why I'm going to enjoy every moment of it. Just do it. Let your eloquency flow forth. Succeed. A wave of inspiration swells within you. Brothers and sisters, our paths have led us here, to this place, on this day, because we are guided by the same stars and beckoned by one and the same dream. Ours is a dream of freedom and of triumph of light over darkness. I am not here to rule over you, but rather to be the first among equals, as long as you are willing to follow me. Stand up, brothers and sisters. Henceforth you shall be my free knight crusaders. Ivy whispers loudly in your ear. You should have added something at the end, like cookies for everyone. Except we probably don't have any cookies. Well, I can fly off quickly and bring some back. Hooray, hurrah, I think I dropped something. It's about to go boom. Here goes. Oh wow, we turned this chunk of corruption into Oasis. Oh wow, what was that? Where did that come from? I'll bet a jar of strawberry jam it came straight from Elysium. I mean, I don't have any strawberry jam, but still. The big grown-up dragons in my family can transform their environment like this, but how did you do it? I have no idea what sort of voice I'm doing for Ivu. I'm trying to affect the voice actress's voice, but I can't quite remember what it sounded like. Thor the Wallflower scratches the bridge of his nose, clearly anxious. We've seen something like this happen before. Nest, it was back in Canabaris, in the temple where we were all gathered together. A glowing aura enveloped you, and we heard music that wasn't actually there. Just the same as this time. A wondrous power dwells within you, and it's growing. My power manifests itself spontaneously. I don't know why it happens. Wallflower looks at the little patch of nature that appeared out of nowhere. We'll try to figure it out. All of us. I'll need Maestress Olla's help, and others too. We'll set up a camp right here on the ridge and monitor any new changes. There's not much to be analysed yet. I've only witnessed 2 cases where something unusual happened around you. Both cases were spontaneous, and both times you were surrounded by people who had been helped and inspired by you. First time it happened, you saw a vision, but now a fragment of that vision has been brought to life. Who knows, Nest? Maybe you'll be able to heal the entire world wound, just like you healed this little patch of rock. Everyone says I've been blessed by the gods. Yes, but I'm almost certain this isn't the work of Iomedae, or at least not hers alone. Your power, it's like a song of freedom, a lush wilderness of the deepest longings of the heart, of Elysium. The warriors of heaven are too proud to possess or grant such a power. This type of power is brought into the world by Azatas, the children of freedom, and the deities of their plane, of whom Desna is our guiding star, is one. What are you going to do now? We'll set up camp here. Our learned friends will observe this Garden of Elysium and study it. The artists among us will start working on their art. I'll help the Calderian halflings prepare to launch raids against the demons. The cavalry sculptors, I have no idea what they'll do, but I hope they'll keep themselves busy somehow. Drop by in a couple of weeks, will you? We'll have settled in by then, and we may even have something else to show you. But it's a secret for now. You forgot the most important part. Honestly, what would you all do without a smart little dragon like me around? Azatas have courts. The Court of Silent Laughter, for example, or the Court of the Flaming Sword. They always have such pretty names. People come to the court freely and then stay because they like it there and have some affinity with it. That's why Nest has to give this place a name. It's her court after all. Give a name to the court. Much like real Azatas from Elysium, the commander can give a name to her court, which is a company of her allies and the place where they meet. What shall we name this? Let's call it the Nest of Freedom. That's affecting her name and also in the kind of spirit of things. The Nest of Freedom. Accept. I'll figure out a proper voice for Ivo at some point. But cavalry sculptors. We'll set up camp here. Come and see us later. Maestro. Oh, they're all just saying the same thing. So this is our little band of merry men, I guess. That's quite a big area. Okay, we don't need to look around the whole thing now. I imagine they'll fill it out. Let's rest. Okay. I don't know what that did, but let's exit the area. Oh, I guess it did do something because it got rid of their fatigue. I hope it didn't pass time because we rested twice. We've got the diplomatic council is assembled and awaits the commander at headquarters for the first meeting. Same with the staff council, the logistics council, and the military council. That means we can do more orders. Let's issue orders to Irabeth. Irabeth's breakdown, which occurred before the assault on Drezen, still haunts her mind. She should be reminded that she is, and always will be a hero in the eyes of the soldiers by appointing her as commander of a small squad of crusaders. Unfortunately, because Irabeth is occupied as squad leader, her duties in the crusade command have to be transferred to someone else. Issue the decree. It's going to take 7 days. Anything with relics? Let's issue one of these. Oh, it costs. Okay, let's not issue one of those then. Yet. Lost scouts. Scouts cannot work out how the demon army picks its way through advanced units to be able to suddenly attack the Crusader forces. Recently, another suspicious incident took place. Some scouts did not return from their mission to explore the territory to the south of Drezen. More thorough reconnaissance of the area is needed. Probably the source of the demon apparition is in there somewhere. Let's issue that decree. I guess we could do one of the... okay. We'll spend the money to do that. And I guess there are no leadership things. Okay. I guess let's head back. Or is there anything we can do with the armies? Yeah, don't show this tutorial. We can get more recruits. We've got enough money to, so let's get more Hell Knights and let's get more clerics and archers and soldiers. Let's get... oh, we have to move this army first. We'll take the lot. Wish I didn't have to do like a loading screen every time you did this. We'll do that next. We'll just look through so we don't have the alert for it all, I guess. The army's got some more movement now. I guess we should clear the Drezen area because I think that's one of our missions. So we'll send the main army back for now. We'll pick up the recruits. I want to make this army strong. Level 7 now. That's what we like to see. And let's defeat this army. Ooh. Well, these drakes certainly hit hard. Do they hit as hard as we do? Nope. Easy. Fireball makes so much of this redundant, basically. Warriors have discovered what attracted such a horde of monsters, an impressive ambulant laboratory belonging to some insane alchemist. The laboratory has been mercilessly plundered and the jars of elixirs and ingredients bore sinister holes through which the hideous creatures had consumed their contents like some exquisite nectar. Luckily, some of the alchemist's inventory survived and now belongs to the Crusaders. You come back. We might work on building a second army. I want to add these Hell Knights to things as well. Let's put you all in the same army for now. And then you can stay at that fort. Can we reach this army? Sure. Nope. Oh well. Okay. Right, let's go back to Drezen and see the councils. Yeah, we've got a little alert at the Citadel there, letting us know we've got some stuff going on, which is helpful. Sealkind. Before you stands a tall, fit man whose dark hair is already tinged with grey. He greets you with a brisk military salute. My name is Captain Selkind. I command the vanguard of a mercenary group called the Blackstone Company. We've come from Andoran to assist you. I want to know more about your unit. The Blackstone Company is proud to be recognised as one of the finest Andorian mercenary regiments. We're not a bunch of unscrupulous sellswords looking to oppress the innocent and serve the tyrants of the world. No. We're adventurers eager to get involved in a dangerous enterprise and leave it with pockets full of gold and a clear conscience. Which is why we held a vote among our units. We were glad to accept Queen Galfrey's invitation to join the crusade, though some of our commanders did voice their displeasure with the sum she offered. But like I said, we Andorans are a free people who cannot be pushed around and who cannot be bought, only convinced. Why did you join up with us? Queen Galfrey paid for our service, but please do not think we're fighting for gold alone. We are true sons and daughters of Andoran, so the ideals of equality and resisting enslavement ring true in our hearts. We will be glad to stand in the way of demons who seek to force mortal kind into bondage. The bulk of our company made camp in Nerosian, but the vanguard, consisting of our finest soldiers, if I may add, was put under your command. I want to know more about you, Captain Sealkind. The man flashes a genuine smile. I don't even know what to say. I'm a soldier, a bit of an explorer, and just an all-round honest man. Get on with your duties. Yes, ma'am. Glad to be under your command. Captain Sealkind salutes you again, smiles, and adds in a softer voice, It will be an honour to serve with you, Commander. If you have any questions, let me know. If you need to talk, I'd be happy to lend an ear. Arushale. Irabeth said we're under threat from demons with unusual abilities, like that Nabasu that attacked your army at the Lost Chapel. They're very powerful and they're growing in number. You haven't found out where they're coming from, have you? Arushale looks around shyly and continues, lowering her voice as if entrusting you with a personal secret. I'm not sure, but I think I have a lead. I know where to find someone who can lead us to the source of their power. Who are you talking about? A hag by the name of Jarukina. She used to live here before the fall of Sarkoris, but when the demons invaded this world, she happily took their side. The old cannibal knows many secrets. You just have to make her talk. Does this Jarunka also have special powers? Her? I doubt it. But still be careful. She is a very old, very sly creature, and she's incredibly dangerous. Where can I find this informer of yours? The place is called Green Gates. I'll show you how to get there. Long ago, before the World Wound, there was a Sarkorian fortress there. Then crusaders built a small chapel. But for many, many years the place has been home to nothing but abomination and squalor. How did you find out about this? Arushale quickly looks at the faces of those present and seems to curl in on herself. Quietly, almost whispering, she says, That is a long story. I will tell you when we get there, all right? Thanks for the tip. happy to help. It's just... Arushale looks around cautiously again and lowers her voice. You won't go there without me, will you? I want to personally make sure that this monster doesn't escape you. There's a new quest there. Grandma Gretlin, the director. She lowers herself into a bow. Good day, your commandership. It is we, the artistic board of the next door theatre. We are still working on our piece about your heroism. We have even taken on a few new recruits. We now have a master of stage equipment and scenery. It is my granddaughter, Tina. Tina, say hello to her commandership. We are faced with another dilemma. We simply can't decide on a climactic moment for the act that's all about the Battle of Drezen. Here, you listen to the options. Grandma Gretlin holds a scroll up before her eyes and begins to read, running a gnarled finger along each line. Option 1, the commander, that's you, launches herself out of a catapult and smashes down the fortress wall, allowing the armies to rush inside. Option 2, the commander, so that's you again, masquerades as a Baelor and creeps into Drezen in disguise, and then opens the gates to the crusaders. Option 3, the commander, so that's you again, rides the attack on an enormous mountain goat, or should we call it a battering ram, hey? And it breaks down the city gates. Well, what do you say? The cross-dressing as a Baelor version is the best one, surely. Yes, it sort of makes it a performance within a performance. Theatre in the theatre. A double entendre in a double entendre. Oh, I think I misspoke. Thank you for the inspiration, your commandership. Grandma Gretlin and her entourage move away, but their voices project so well that you can easily hear the rest of the conversation. What do you think? Maybe we can somehow add a catapult to the Baelor plot? Maybe the commander can use a catapult to fly out of Drezen once she's completed her mission? Did you forget the role of the commander is being played by a Cyclops? How are we going to launch Lumpkin out of a catapult? Where are we going to find a catapult that won't just break under his weight? Calm yourself, Tina. It's just a minor snag. You can't achieve success without a few difficulties along the way. We'll think of something, you'll see. So they clearly wanted to go option 1. Captain Odin. The tall, gaunt half-elf salutes you solemnly. Commander, it's an honour to call this first meeting of the Military Council to order. I am Captain Odin. I have been serving under your command ever since the assault on the Grey Garrison. I'll do my best to be as much use to you as possible in this role. The foundation of the military is cold calculation and discipline. These are the principles I will seek to impart to the Crusaders. If we are to win this war, we must forget about mercy. For our enemies, for our troops, and for ourselves. There's Regil. Seela. Well, Commander, your sister Seela is no renowned general, but she spent half her life tussling with evil. It looks like I'll be stepping up on behalf of all of Iomede's faithful here. I hope my advice will prove useful. Demons aren't the first invaders to come to the lands of Sarkoris. I know this country, and I know how people used to fight here in the old days. Listen to me, War Chief, and I'll tell you how to turn the land itself into our ally. There's Ulbrich. The first issue on the Military Council's agenda is the reorganisation of troops. Our infantry has been bled dry. The forces Her Majesty granted us were enough to take Drezen, but we need more troops to hold it. Furthermore, the army was assembled in great haste after the assault on Carnabaris and was never adequately equipped. Unfortunately, we don't have much time for redeployment. Our scouts report that a powerful Baelor, Koramzaden, is already preparing a retaliatory strike on Drezen, but we can rely on freshly conscripted Mendevian soldiers. They may not have the skill, but our strength, as always, lies in the number and fervour of the volunteers joining the Crusades. We can't throw everyone into the meat grinder. We'll just get our youths killed for nothing. We need to select the best among the recruits, or even better, hold a contest. The bravest and most capable will join the Crusaders. The death count is always highest in the infantry. Its purpose is to serve as a shield. It would be wise to invest our resources in hiring and training heavy footmen with shields to ensure maximum protection. even if it limits their mobility and makes them less threatening to the enemy. Never enough folk, same in war as it is in peacetime. We dealt with that problem by finding helpers among the animals. Why can't we do the same now? Strengthen the infantry with war dogs. One soldier with a dog at his side is more like 1.5 fighters, maybe even 2. Captain Odin, what does the military council do? The military council determines the strategy for our troops, enacts army reforms, approves new equipment standards, and makes decisions on all issues regarding military action on the front lines. Who is this Baelor Coramzaden? The most trusted servant of the demon lord Discari. Among the historians of the Mendevian Crusades, he's known as the strategist of the Worldwound. He's not as renowned as Minago, the conqueror of Drezen, or Hepzimira, daughter of Baphomet, but he has claimed the most major victories over the forces of Mendev. He is a general and quite possibly one of the best tacticians in the entire Abyss. I've been studying his style of warfare for years. He may seem like an ordinary demon, another typical war taskmaster, but that's a fallacy. Like a beast following a scent, he senses weakness in his enemy's defences and strikes at them, sending soldiers to bring targeted carnage. His uncanny charisma attracts more and more soldiers to him, so he's never short on troops and sacrifices them like pawns whenever he pleases in order to achieve his victories. Coramzaden is the face of the demon host. For many years I've been gathering research on him, preparing for the day our armies would clash with his once more. I hope my council will help you defeat him, but so far Coramzaden has known no defeats. I have a question for my advisors. We are ready to answer any questions you may have, Commander. Celia, have you ever commanded an army before? Not on a scale like this, of course not, but I've fought evil and I know its tricks. Besides, war makes people callous, and it's always useful to have a paladin advisor around to remind you at a crucial moment what we're actually fighting for, right? Regil, why do you wish to sit on the military council? I have command experience, and I intend to impart that to the Crusaders at least a modicum of the discipline and rigidity of the Hell Knights. The quality of the Mendevian staff currently available to you leaves much to be desired. Regil glances at the wincing Captain Odin. That much is certain. Albrig, do you have military experience? Do I have experience? Ha! I fought on this land back when it was still called Sarkoris. I led my clan on raids against our neighbours, drove invaders from our land, and I went to war with my band against orcs and giants. What kind of Sarkorian would I be if I stood on the sidelines now? Who are you, Captain Odin? Captain Odin bows ceremoniously. I've served on the front lines of the Mendevian army for over 25 years, and in that time I've gained a wealth of combat experience. His voice sounds calm, but his face darkens at the mention of a wealth of combat experience. I'm considered one of the foremost experts on tactics and strategy in the Queen Galfrey's officer corps. I've spent my whole life studying the craft of warfare, and I'm familiar with the thoughts of all prominent military leaders of the last 5 centuries. Furthermore, I wholeheartedly believe in the traditions of Mendev's military art, and I will gladly share my knowledge with you, Commander. I have no more questions. I want to hear the opinions of my advisors. Everyone looks at you expectantly. Seela, do we really need only the bravest and most capable for our inventory? I mean, we can't send untrained rookies to a slaughter. We have the right to command only those who are ready for battle, those who can defeat the enemy. We must find out who has skill and the guts. Contests are perfect for that, and a little excitement for our warriors couldn't hurt either. We won't get that many winners, but their strength will come from their prowess, not from their numbers. Your proposal would leave us with an infantry full of selfish risk-takers, dreaming of glory and valour. That is a bad material for a soldier. The infantry's role is to be a shield for the archers and mages. All they're required to do is follow orders and hold the line, unto victory or death. Ambitious loners cherry-picked through contests of skill are not fit to perform this duty. Okay, Regil, why do you insist on shield bearers? The infantry is a meat shield intended to catch the blade of the opposing army in its flesh. The shield must be reliable. That is all that is required of it. That is why I would like to see well-armoured shield-bearers as our foot soldiers. We must have the option of pitting ranks of footmen against a tide of rampaging demons, knowing with certainty that they will not scatter or die until they have completed their task. Ulbrich, how will war dogs help our infantry? A loyal hound is more than just a set of sharp fangs. It's an extra pair of eyes, a keen nose, and another head in a way. It's no soldier, but it's an extra fighting power. Since we can't get any more human warriors from anywhere, we should swell the ranks with our four-legged fighters. Captain Odin, you just want to gather up some recruits from Mendev? Yes. Institute a draft and try to amass as many new soldiers from Mendev and other lands as we can. We've always drawn our strength from our zeal and our determination to oppose evil. If we start holding contests or selections, we'll turn a holy crusade into a job for the chosen few and scare away future volunteers. If we try changing our tried and true tactics, we'll lose valuable time, and our army is in need of fresh blood right now. Everything is clear to me. So the way these councils work is you get you'll have a different group of advisors for different councils, and they occasionally come to you with propositions like this. And then there's an outcome that affects the campaign map, basically. So if we go with Sealer's Choice, the main barracks provides a weekly recruitment of champions. All footmen are promoted to champions. So that's okay. As much as I like Regel's advice, I don't like shield bearers. So for his, all footmen are promoted to shield bearers and we get shield bearers every week. I'm not bothered about that. I don't know what Hound Masters are like. I guess Ulbrich, the main barracks provide a weekly recruitment growth for Hound Masters. And Odin's changes footmen to conscripts. I'm torn between Sealers and Ulbrich's choice. We've already got some champions, so doing that would give us more add to the champions we've already got. I think using animals is I think Ness likes the idea of animals. Why not? Let's use dogs to reinforce our infantry. Training a dog for war is no easy task, but we had a few tricks in Sarkoris. Druids today aren't a patch on the old ones, of course, but they can talk to beasts. That's all we need. I'll train 5 dogs and they'll quickly supply our army with 4-legged reinforcements. Captain Odin salutes you formally. Thank you for your time, Commander. When the reforms are finished and the ranks of our infantry are replenished, I will assemble the military council to discuss new decisions. We're going to have to go through all these councils one by one. Lady Kanomi. A sharp-looking kitsune gives you a quick, business-like bow. Commander, the matters before us are urgent, so let's not stand on ceremony. I am Lady Kanomi, the official attaché from Nerosian. Here are my credentials. She presents a scroll adorned with Galfrey's seal. Her Majesty has instructed me to lead your headquarters diplomatic council. So Shiel, honestly, I was surprised when Lady Kanomi asked me to join this council, but I will do my best to fill the shoes of a trained diplomat. Lan, yeah, strange I got invited to the council too. I'm sure foreign ambassadors will be thrilled to see my face and my manners. Lady Kanomi, you haven't mistaken me for some other Crusader, Lan, have you? Darren, I, like many nobles, have been trained in diplomacy, and, in fact, I hold the title of Royal Emissary. It is passed down the Arande line. I must say that prior to this day I employed my diplomatic skills solely to undermine Mendev's international reputation. It is time to break that habit. I imagine preventing international scandals will be just as interesting as causing them. Who knows, I might even enjoy it. What's the Diplomatic Council and why do I need it? To solve the matters of politics, of course. The Crusade is more than just battles and sieges. It is the largest military project in all of Avestan, funded by the treasuries of more than a dozen major powers. And each one of those powers, in addition to seeking victory over the demons, is also pursuing its own goals. The Diplomatic Council will manage this tangle of political interests and prevent the Crusade from losing the favour of influential benefactors. And while we're at it, ensure that Nerosian remains satisfied with the state of affairs. After all, for the last 100 years, the entirety of Mendevian politics has revolved around the Crusades in some shape or form. That is why the capital has sent me here, to observe, offer suggestions, and keep the diplomatic situation under control. I see, you've been sent to keep an eye on me. Whatever gave you that idea, Commander? I am not an overseer, I am your loyal advisor. I do not intend to meddle in the way that you run things, just consult you in cases where the price of error is too high. Put your trust in me and we'll get along swimmingly. After all, none of us here want to see Cheliax and Druma at each other's throats, trying to settle their dispute by using their influence on us as political leverage. Am I wrong? And I doubt you would like it if we made enemies in the ranks of the Nerosian nobility who would attempt to undermine your war effort. This won't happen as long as you trust my experience. Tell me more about the Royal Council. What is it for? The Royal Council, operating under Her Majesty, is the highest governing body in Mendev, and comprises her most able and trusted servants. It is responsible for day-to-day matters of state. They are the hands and the voice of the Queen. The Council has gathered people from all walks of life. Some of them are nobles, but many more are citizens of humble origins, who earned their positions through their wit. Many are rich, but a fair number of them are of more humble means. Some are pious and pure of heart, like Lord Inquisitor Cassary and Captain Jaspar of the Crusader Heralds. Others are more flexible and ambitious, but each of them faithfully serves Mendev's cause. I have a question about the composition of this council. Do you find someone's presence surprising? Social has never had to deal with diplomatic concerns before. That won't be a problem. In my homeland, Tianzi, inviting clerics and paladins of Shaylin, the Lady of Chrysanthemums, to take part in diplomatic missions is a common practice. They may not be politicians, but they are perceptive, advocate peace, and favour balanced solutions. I am flattered by the respect that the worshippers of my goddess receive in Lady Konomi's homeland. Social bows his head courteously. I won't let you down, Nest, and I'll make every effort to prevent our friends from becoming our enemies. Why did Darren want to take part in the council? Why? Because of Count Orende's influence, naturally. He's a Mendevian aristocrat. The nobility will be inclined to listen to his opinion, and by ensuring the support of the nobles, we'll find ourselves powerful allies. Darren sneers back at her. Oh, believe me, Lady Konomi, I will exert all my efforts and influence to make this council's job exciting. Why did you choose Lan to join the council? We diplomats call this little trick Mysterious Garundi Prince. During negotiations, it's always useful to have on your side a representative of some obscure but politically populous and powerful nation. Without knowing what they're up against and how many mongrels there are, our diplomatic partners will have to contend with this dark horse. So, Mr. Lan will be our mongrel prince. If we're negotiating with foreign ambassadors and I make this sign, Lady Konomi crosses her fingers in an intricate gesture, you immediately start talking about how offensive their proposition is to the mongrel people. Do we have a deal, Mr. Lan? Lan scoffs and glowers at Lady Konomi. I suspect the word diplomat was synonymous with fraud, but I thought you would be deceiving me, not deceiving others with my help. No, that's not an option. I can represent the Mongols in negotiations, but I'm not going to lie through my teeth. Tell me about yourself, Lady Konomi. Who are you? Lady Konomi lowers her eyes in a show of modesty. It's unbecoming of a diplomat to talk about themselves at length, but how am I to refuse you? I come from Tianzhou, from the noble Kitsune. Like any Kitsune, I have always been curious to a fault, and my adventures brought me to Avestan. And here, in your lands, I met my first and true love, politics. I have served as a diplomat in the courts of 6 different sovereigns, but working for Her Majesty turned out to be the most interesting of all. Such riveting webs of intrigues and interests are spun around the Crusade and the Worldwound. Everything's clear? In that case, why don't we discuss our first pressing diplomatic issue? What's on the Council's agenda today? I hate to say it, Commander, but not everyone in Nerosian is pleased with your progress. Some believe that, to use their words, You are out of control and fancy yourself an independent leader. It wouldn't surprise me if you encountered supply disruptions in the near future. I would suggest quelling their anger. Show the capital you haven't forgotten about the chain of command. For example, you could hold a parade in honour of Her Majesty. If we need to demonstrate that we're keeping Nerosian in mind, why don't we invite the capital's high priest to Drezen for a religious festival? It'll be appropriate, and the church's support will shield us from the accusations of schemers. Pander to the naysayers? I think not. I propose we hold a parade in your honour, Nest. This is your victory, and if Cousin Galfrey wants to show off in front of the soldiers, she's welcome to capture something of her own. Lan's eyes flash with anger. Are they out of their mind? We've got a whole Drezen full of soldiers who need medicine, food, and weapons. Until everyone has been taken care of, we can't waste a single coin on pointless celebrations. What did I do to incur Nerosian's discontent? You were too good. You reclaimed Cannabris, you won the Battle of Drezen, you're a menace to the Worldwound. Your authority grows, and the influence of the Queen's confidants diminishes. This creates the impression that there's only enough space for you at the top. The members of the Royal Council are afraid that you will muscle them out of the political arena altogether. After all, if you're doing so well, maybe Her Majesty doesn't need them that much. Therefore, they might try to discredit you, impede your war effort, reduce the scale of your victories, make some concessions, and they'll see that you're open to negotiations. I want to hear the opinions of my advisors. There's going to be a lot of talking through this chunk as we get through all this, I think. I'm going to have a few long episodes in a row, aren't I? Lady Kimoni gives you a look of surprise. What for? They aren't the wishes of the capital obvious enough? Although, very well, let us hear their counsel. Social, how does inviting high priests to a festival help us? Without a doubt, we should remain loyal to the Queen and respect the hierarchy, but that doesn't mean we have to kowtow to the Royal Council whenever they ask. I think we should neither do their bidding nor seek to quarrel with them. Rather, we should try to take the middle path. The High Priest of Nerosian is a powerful figure, yet he's not a schemer or a politician. By inviting him to the festival, we'll both show that we're not cutting ties with Nerosian, and let them know that we have influential friends who are not about to buckle under the Royal Council. That's a very safe option. Darren, what's the point of taunting the capital by throwing a parade in my honour? There's a fine line between taunting and setting boundaries, and between showing respect and putting on a collar. Mind you, I'm not suggesting anything treasonous or disrespectful. A parade in honour of the true heroine of Drezen and Cannabris. What could be more natural than that? Besides, a healthy amount of disobedience guarantees that people won't pester you with lectures and nonsense as often. A dozen tutors responsible for my upbringing can attest to that. Provoking the capital would be unwise. We're trying to avoid unpleasant consequences, not expedite them. I'm sure that was merely an extravagant jest on the Count's part. I don't know, the idea of telling all the nobles to piss off appeals to Nest. Lan, do you think ignoring the capital's worries is a good idea? And what are they going to do about it? We're the ones protecting them from the demons, not the other way around. Having loyalties from the capital is great, but there are more important things, like having the loyalty of our own soldiers. When the demons come, what will we do? Shake our fists and say we've got powerful friends in Nerosian? Why, that's true. Who needs to stay friends with those who supply your provisions, recruits and weapons? And there's certainly no reason to fear that base jealousy and envy at the sight of your glory might get the better of their common sense, because that's never happened before. Lady Konomi, what good will a parade in Her Majesty's honour do? It will be symbolic and affordable. Show them how much you respect and value Her Majesty. Make a curtsy to those who pray for your arrows and swords and pay for your arrows, swords and bread. The Royal Council has power. You wouldn't want to turn those patrons into adversaries and test those whose influence is greater, yours or theirs. Please them, and they will stop worrying about your loyalty, and you'll be able to focus on your war. So let me get this straight. Hiding behind our backs and buying their safety from the demonic invasion with bread and other people's lives is a new form of charity? Are you sure we shouldn't go to them, drop to our knees and thank them for allowing us to die in this war? Everything is clear. So what are the effects? Religious feast decree. Energy points income increases by 20% and finance points is reduced by 10% for 30 days. Parade in my honour. The cost of recruiting mercenary units reduces by 7.5 material points. Oh, nah, I don't want to reduce material points. Sorry, Lan. Helping those in need decree. Crusader morale increases by 10 or by 20 if crusade morale is below 0. So that'll be good in an emergency. And the Royal Parade. Finance income points increases by 10% for 30 days. Honestly, as much as I kind of don't like Lady Konomi's energy, I feel like her choice might be the best one for now. Or we could go the role-playing manner and just pick Darren's. I don't like the idea of losing material points, though. They're very valuable. We will hold a parade in Her Majesty's honour. I'm glad you have listened to my proposal. Making friends on the Royal Council will go a long way. It's good that we've got off on the right foot, Commander. There'll be plenty more issues requiring your decision soon, but I do not doubt that we will handle them just as expediently. Right, that's 2 out of 4. Captain Harmattan. Hail, Commander. Before you, an aged yet fit and sturdy Gurindi stands at attention. His dark skin has an earthy tone to it, and crystals sparkle forth from where his hair and eyebrows should be, clearly identifying him as an Aurad. Captain Harmattan, Chair of the Staff Council by the order of Her Majesty Queen Galfrey, here to deliver a report. I'm on this council too, Seela salutes briskly. We'll be racking our brains on how to improve troop morale. I reckon the key is to back up our words with actions. Lead your soldiers by example, and they'll be eager to follow. Drawing on my experience as a paralictor, my advice is to maintain calculated moderation in every regard, be it in incentive or penalty, and to be decisive. We have no need for doubts or turmoil. I'm doomed to be your advisor, but you know what that means? That you are doomed to listen to my advice. To start things off, here's an incredibly novel and deep thought for you. Loyalty, passion, and morale. All of these can be easily bought with money. Commander, permission to report. We've encountered a problem. Although we're still getting volunteers, we are now seeing cases of desertion. Many who joined the Drezen campaign believe that their duty has been fulfilled with the victory, and they are not keen on staying in the garrison. Those from Carnabaris wish to return home and rebuild their ruined city. Lastly, there are those who are afraid of lingering in a place where demons might show up with a retaliatory expedition at any moment. My suggestion is to improve living conditions for the privates, raise their pay, give them extra rations, and reward those who have distinguished themselves on the battlefield with commendations and gifts. Soldiers don't want to leave armies that appreciate them. I feel for these folks, but we have to convince them to stay. I think we might get some help from the servants of the gods. They'll tell the soldiers that the danger is not yet past and inspire them to keep up the fight against evil. As long as the wound is open, the whole world is in danger. We can't just go home and live lives like we used to, no matter how badly we want that to happen. Most of the crusaders are volunteers, but they have no right to subvert military discipline. That kind of attitude is tantamount to treason, regardless of who expresses it. We have to identify the instigators, arrest them, and administer harsh punishment to make an example of them. This problem is quite simply solved with coin, but handing money out to privates is practically throwing it away. We need to pay the officers handsomely, then they'll figure out how to raise their subordinates' morale. Tell me, Captain, what does the Staff Council do? In short, we make sure that whenever orders are given, they are executed properly. Our job is to keep the soldiers' morale high, so that they always follow their officers' commands without question. As for the officers themselves, we look out for any unseemly or incompetent types who subvert the troops' trust. I have questions for the Council. Understood, Commander. Ask away. Seela, what brings you to the Council? It's pretty self-explanatory. We're not fighting for a sawmill here. This is a crusade against the Abyss. When you're up against demons, you bring a paladin. It's a rule that's tried and very much true. Regil, what kind of help can I expect to get from you on this council? I have extensive experience in being in command, and as a Hell Knight, I possess a firmness that some of your other officers may be lacking. The essence of my counsel is not to spoil your troops, but to maintain their discipline strategically. Amidst the chaos of war, a general has to be a beacon of order and purpose for their soldiers. They will be just as grateful to receive rewards or lashes from such a general, and most importantly, they won't even think to disobey their orders. Darren, what are you doing on this council? Mostly I'm just waiting for it to end, but since I have little choice, I'll give you some advice on how to charm your subordinates, be they people of importance or simple commoners. I'll tell you the biggest secret straight away. Free. Money. Gold is the most miraculous power there is. Captain Haramatum, why did the Queen appoint you to preside over this council? I've been in the Elysian infantry for 100 years, fighting for 3 pharaohs. Then after I joined the Crusade, I served Her Majesty Galfrey for 2 more decades. I dare to hope that I've gained decent experience over those years. I see. We're glad to serve. Let's discuss our options in further detail. As you command. One second. I need a drink because I picked a rather throaty voice for this guy. I'm going for gravelly because he's a rock man. Sealer, what's your plan? The situation is not that dire. Morale is high and we just won a major victory. So some have let down their guards. We have to call for priests and paladins to get it through to the volunteers that it's still early for the celebrations. If they leave for their homes today, Drezen will fall again tomorrow, and the day after, the demons will show up on their doorstep. Servants of the gods are indeed the masters of sweet-talking others into dying free of charge, all through pretty words. But when the choice comes down to inspired preaching or homemade pies, 9 of every 10 will look for comfort in their homes and at their table. Their incentive needs to be more substantial than wasted breath. Darren, your opinion, please. Our forces are in good spirits. It's just that the euphoria of victory has gone to a few heads. No one can sober them up quicker than the officers, especially those of lower rank. We'll give our dear oafs, all those sergeants and corporals, a bonus on the sly. Then promise to sweeten the deal once they've convinced the volunteers to stay. Perhaps they will do so over a mug of beer, or maybe a broken nose. Why bother solving problems yourself when you can push them off on someone you pay? Your bought loyalty will run out even sooner than your gold. Once soldiers turn into profiteers, instead of following orders, they start appraising them. They'll wonder whether or not it's worth their while to obey their general. I hardly need to explain the effect this will have on discipline. Okay, Regil, what do you suggest? There is no place in the army for the mindset of playing soldier today, then going home tomorrow. These dangerous ideas must be suppressed with the utmost harshness. We'll identify the most vocal rabble-rousers and exact punishment on them as an example to others. They may be volunteers, but they joined the ranks of the crusaders. We can't abet in their rejection of their responsibilities, or we'll be heading towards complete chaos and therefore defeat. That's a great plan. If you want your soldiers to run back home twice as fast, they came here of their own volition. We must convince them to stay, not terrorise them into fighting. Captain Haramatum, what would you advise? The volunteers believe we've almost won. Great. Let's not ruin this pretty illusion. Instead, we'll turn it to our advantage. We'll increase rations and pay for the privates, rewarding the most distinguished with commendations and gifts. Who would abandon the victors when they provide you with good food and even better coin? It's naive to expect the troops won't understand that we would just be trying to appease them. An army cannot stand if it's held together by handouts and desperate promises. We shouldn't lie to our soldiers. If we build up flimsy illusions now, the demons will shatter them later. Those fighting alongside us must recognise the seriousness of the situation instead of celebrating victory when the war has just begun. Thank you, everything is clear. What do the options affect? We get glory to heroes. That increases our morale a bit. Hunting down mutiny. We're not going to do this even just for roleplay reasons. There's no way Nest would be on board with that. And I'm not really on board with Darren's either. It's either Captain Harrimatton's or... so Crusader morale increases by 10 to 15. And it costs 30 material points. And Sealer's the cheapest and doesn't cost anything and just gives us a bump to morale. We'll go with Sealer. Sealer, mobilise the priests and paladins to raise awareness. Sure thing. Faith has always helped me in my darkest hours, and it will help our soldiers too. We just need to talk to them from the heart. Thank you, Commander. Should any other difficulties arise that require your attention, I'll deliver a new report promptly. Promptly. Sorry. Okay, this is the last one, and we're definitely going to stop for a break after this. This has gone on for ages. Dorgenlinda Stranglehold. Hail, Commander. A middle-aged dwarf who has clearly seen some combat salutes you with one barely moving, bone-dry hand. On her face are huge, scarred claw marks. A black eye patch covers one eye, and she is watching you with the other, intent and sombre. Dorgenlinda Stranglehold, Chair of the Logistics Council, at your service. We got ourselves an ugly situation that requires your decision. I hope I won't get in anyone's way if I join you. Arushale looks around with visible worry. I think I could give some good advice here, if you don't mind, of course. Lan, hopefully this council will benefit from my vast experience surviving with gear that consists of rocks and sticks, and when any dinner that's not squirming on your plate is considered a feast. All in all, kind of like our crusade. I won't lie to you, our logistics are a mess. We need more of everything. We need more of everything, and what we do have is in disarray. Crates of provisions are rotting away in storehouses because some idiot quartermaster spilled beer on the papers. And fools are not the worst problem. There's also theft. Some officers grease palms to get a helmet with stylish plumage or a fancy blade from an Erosian. Meanwhile, that means that ordinary soldiers are being armed with barely more than kitchen knives, hammers and tongs. It's time to give the entire logistics staff the bum's rush. The question is, where do we find capable and honest people to replace them? These scoundrels must be replaced with decent, honourable people. Selfless souls who have proven that they put their comrades' lives above all else, especially their own wealth. Surely that's who will take the best care of our soldiers. Let's get some veterans on the job. People who've had their fill of the front lines and who know firsthand what life is like for a common soldier, what the rations taste like, and how the boots are always the wrong size. My suggestion is to call some experienced, well-connected supply officers from Nerosian. Let them leave their cushy jobs in Mendev and work up a sweat for the good of the crusade. Dorgenlinda, what are this council's responsibilities? The Logistics Council deals with all matters relating to supply in the army. Most issues will be trivial and undeserving of your attention. However, from time to time, serious decisions will need to be made, and that's where I'll convene the council. I have questions for the council. As you wish. I'm surprised there's only 2 members here. I'm trying to think if there's more that we get. Arushale, what are you doing on this council? You think I shouldn't have joined? Arushale looks away sheepishly. It's just, well, I spent a lot of time studying how armies work, both Crusader and Demonic, when I was spying. I think my advice might be useful, or at least I hope it will be. But if I'm a bother, I'll leave, of course. Lan, how can you be of use to this council? I know a thing or two about gathering weapons and provisions. Compared to the war for survival we had to wage underground, you guys have it easy up here. If things go badly, I can teach your troops to live off the land, and how to craft decent weapons from junk. They'll have memories of Lan's special stew for years. Not sure if those will be fond memories, but they'll remember for sure. Dorgenlinda, why were you assigned to head this council? Over many years of doing quartermaster duty, I've managed to develop a bit of a reputation for myself. The units I'm responsible for are always properly equipped, armed and fed. Thieves, scatterbrains and reprobates promptly get the boot. Bureaucrats, who never seem to have anything, miraculously find everything they need after meeting with me. In short, don't you worry, Commander. I'm right where I belong. I understand. Then let's get back to the pressing issue. Let's discuss our options in more detail. Yes, Commander. Arushale, what are you suggesting? A quartermaster's job is to care for the well-being of the soldiers they're equipping for battle. That means the best people to appoint to those positions are people who really care. Those who will keep their fighters warm, fed and properly armed. Maybe they won't have the most experience, but that's alright. It's easier to teach someone numbers and how to run a warehouse than it is to instill a conscience in them. Lamb, what would you advise? In our tribe, we believe that the hunter's gear should be entrusted to the most seasoned hunter. To those who stalked the prey themselves and learned the price of a mistake in outfitting. An old bowstring, a dull spear, a tattered cloak. The hard way. I think that's how it should be in the army. Whoever is responsible for supplies must know war firsthand. They must have dragged themselves through the mud of the battlefield, seen it with their own eyes. Seen with their own eyes how a rotten strap or a boot one size too large can lead to a soldier's death. They must have eaten their share of rotten cabbages and seen carts of horseshoes and pots pull up at their position instead of ammunition because of some clerical error. Assign new quartermasters from the veterans, like Dorg and Linda here. I bet they won't steal, and they won't let anyone else steal either. Dorg and Linda, what's your opinion? There are some great workers in Mendev who have been sitting at home for way too long. Let the Queen send them to us. Instead of counting buttons for the frock coats of Nerosian Royal Guard, let them sort out our supplies. They'll already have connections in Nerosian. They could easily have army property decommissioned and later sold to private buyers for next to nothing, and those buyers will just happen to be the same mercenaries we're negotiating with. Dorg and Linda makes a face. Connections are all too important, as you well know. Everything is clear to me now. What do these do? Ready for anything. Unit has a +2 bonus on all saving throws. That's alright. Only the essentials. Unit has a 10% bonus to maximum HP. Okay. That's pretty good too. And Dorg and Linda. Oh, all of these are good. So we'll pick from a role-playing position then. I kind of like Arushale's. Arushale would Arushale would choose the most honest and responsible people for the job. They'll make sure the soldiers are ready for whatever trouble the enemy might have in store for them. After all, our people's lives depend on their work. How could they neglect such a responsibility? Then it's decided. No matter what our new quartermasters are like, there's no possible way they can be worse than what we have now. The results will be reported to you, and if anything else comes up, I'll call the council right away. End. Okay. Now that that's done, I'm going to take a break, because my voice is... I maybe have to change the voice for the Aurid guy, because that messed me up. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you want to keep following this series, subscribe. I'll be posting daily. And leave a like or a comment if you're feeling generous. Thanks. See you later. Bye.